Attention bowlers, we are going to get started from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Welcome to the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. I'm Steve Kelly on the call. This is a doubleheader tonight. Justin Ruggiero versus Paul Metivier in Class B. And then in Class E, we have Greg Sawyer versus Todd Holbrook. This will not be a head-to-head match. We have Todd Holbrook and Justin Ruggiero already in progress. And bear with me one moment while I just get everything set up here. We have Justin Ruggiero in the green on lane 18 at Leda Lanes and Todd Holbrook in the green on lane 17 at Leda Lanes. Justin Ruggiero will open up with a 9-box, while Todd Holbrook will open up with an 8-box. We are off to the races here at Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Again, this is a doubleheader between Class B North and Class E North. Justin Ruggiero at Paul Metivier and Greg Sawyer at Todd Holbrook. Justin Ruggiero on the headpin dropping 9. Headpin shot, no split. Todd Holbrook, same exact shot. Making my life easier. Justin Ruggiero on the headpin, or not on the headpin, on the single pin remaining. He'll take a spare. We have Todd Holbrook on lane 17 for his same exact shots. Awesome job by both of our bowlers. So, folks, again, my name is Steve Kelly. I'll be your host, narrator, and guide during this Class B and E North doubleheader match today between Justin Ruggiero versus Paul Metivier and Greg Sawyer at Todd Holbrook. Already in progress, Justin Ruggiero and Todd Holbrook down the lanes 17 and 18 at Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Justin Ruggiero with a 1-fill, an ugly 1-fill lemon drop on his spare. Todd Holbrook slightly better, but he has twice as good of a fill with a left side half Worcester. Justin Ruggiero whiffs it again in remedial territory now, hoping to get something greater than a 1-box. And Todd Holbrook, monkey see, monkey do, both of them with the same problems. Same issues, same problems. And Justin Ruggiero will finish with a 5-box. And Todd Holbrook will finish with a 10-box. Mercifully. Let me see if I can get some scores up for you real quick here. Bear with me one second, because tonight the bowlers are not bowling head-to-head, so it's a little bit of an interesting concept tonight. And that is a headpin shot for Todd Holbrook with a split. Justin Ruggiero, no headpin shot, no split. 1, 2, 4, 5, 8 for Justin Ruggiero, and the banana split 7, 10, 4, 6 for Todd Holbrook, and he misses that spare opportunity. I'm going to stop talking for a moment just to get some things squared away up here. Here we are. So Holbrook will start with an 8-box, or a 6-box. My goodness. And Justin will take a 5-box. Another 5-box. So folks, keep an eye on the small box towards the bottom of your screen. That's going to represent the point differentials between this doubleheader match tonight. If I have configured it correctly, that is. In fact, let's actually make a slight correction on that, because there we are. Justin Ruggiero with a headpin shot, but no such luck on the 9 and the 10. Todd Holbrook, some struggles of his own. Justin Ruggiero will take a 9-box. Finish his first half. Todd Holbrook will finish with an 8-box. Just want to make sure there was no sleeper pin behind. Take a look at the details score tonight. So again, this is doubleheader. It is not head-to-head, so you're going to see each bowler from the opposite matchups bowling tonight. I'm going to do my best to keep up with them. Twice the bowlers, twice the action. This is Paul Metivier of the B class and Greg Sawyer making his debut in the E class, his second match at the ACST so far. Paul Metivier with a headpin shot and a split. Greg Sawyer with a right side half Worcester. Metivier for his spare. He almost gets it, leaves the 3-pin. Greg Sawyer chops a few more out with the 1, the 2, the 6, and the 10 remaining on lane 17 at Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Paul Metivier will take a 10 box. Excuse me. And that will be a 6 box for Greg Sawyer. Paul Metivier dropping 6, Sawyer dropping 3. Metivier in lane 18 in the black, and Sawyer in the black on lane 17 at Leda Lanes. Metivier with a spare. And Sawyer will take a 10 box. Metivier feeling a spare and whiffs it slightly to the left. The 4 fill. Sawyer with a generous drop. Pin still falling. It's going to be a 9 drop for Sawyer. Greg Sawyer will take a spare. Metivier working on one of his own. Except it's a 10 box and not a spare. Okay, where does that put us? Metivier is at 34 after 3. Sawyer is at an open 26 after 3. And to recap, Todd Holbrook finished his first half of the first game with a 44 half, and Justin Ruggiero with a 39. Paul Metivier struggling on the first ball off to the left. Greg Sawyer will take a 6 fill. Not on the head pin, but no split either. Metivier chops a few more out, leaving the 4 horsemen right side in the 8 pin. Greg Sawyer, the 1, the 2, the 4, and the 5 are on the deck on lane 17. Paul Metivier will take a 10 box, and Greg Sawyer will clean up for an 8 box. Metivier is at 44 after 4. Compare that to Justin Ruggiero's 30 after 4. Greg Sawyer at 40 after 4. Compare that to Holbrook's 36 after 4. Metivier to the left of the head pin. Calls it the cockeyed alley. Sawyer, bit better luck, but drops 8. No wood to help him on the 7 and 8. Metivier versus a pile of pins on lane 18. He sails off to the left. Sawyer for his spare doesn't get it. Leaves the 7 pin. Both bowlers for 10 boxes now. Metivier first. Fires. 6 box for Metivier and 9 box for Sawyer. Pausing because someone's phone is ringing, but at the moment we have Paul Metivier up in the game by 11, 50 to Ruggiero's 39 at the end of the first half. And we have Greg Sawyer up by 5 over Holbrook, 49 to 44 at the end of the first half of the first game. First game of 5 tonight at the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. Great as always to have you along with us. I'm Steve Kelly on the call, and 4 great bowlers down there. Todd Holbrook to the right of the head pin. No split because the head pin is up. Justin Ruggiero on the head pin, but no split. Neither bowler achieving any marks here. Still no action there. Justin will take an 8. Meanwhile, Todd will take a 7. Ruggiero on the head pin, not on the head pin, but no split. Holbrook just chopping wood. Ruggiero leaves all but the head pin. Holbrook trying to get something going, but he's having trouble on lane 18 with the curvature. Take a 4 Holbrook will take a 4. Ruggiero will take 10. Ruggiero at 57 after 7. Todd Holbrook at 55 after 7. Holbrook leading off. 18 to the right of the head pin this time. Overcorrects just a little bit on a 7 drop. Ruggiero will strike the head pin and get a split. 5 pins up, 5 pins down. Holbrook no spare, leaving the head pin. Ruggiero on lane 17, and he'll get a pretty spare. And that'll be a 10 box for Todd Holbrook. 65 after 8 for Holbrook, and 67 and a ball for Ruggiero. Excuse me, I need to... My apologies, as I misspelled Justin Ruggiero's last name. Ruggiero. My apologies on that. I must have missed that in the pre-production. Some of our bowlers confused on which screen they're looking at on the electronic scoreboard. That's out of view here. Some funny exchanges there. Todd Holbrook on lane 18 on the head pin this time. Gets a break. Drops a lot. Justin Ruggiero, unfortunately, rushes that fill for a 3 to the right. But Holbrook will clean up for a spare. Ruggiero, meanwhile, left with the 2 and the 5 for a 10 box attempt. And he'll take an 8 box. That will put him at 78 after 9. Holbrook at 75 and a ball after 9. We'll size up the situation of the matchups at the end of the first game. Todd Holbrook working on a spare. He drops 6 to the left of the head pin. Ruggiero. No head pin, but technically no split. 1, 2, 6, 10 for Ruggiero. No follow-up spare for Holbrook. Ruggiero, same situation. Holbrook on the 10 pin, he'll take a 9 box to complete with a 90. Ruggiero will take a 10 for 88. Take a look at the score so far. It's 88 to 90. 88 and 90. Justin Ruggiero is facing Paul Metivier, and Greg Sawyer is facing Todd Holbrook. Going to just quickly reconfigure here. Bear with me one moment while I just make all of the necessary adjustments in this doubleheader non-head-to-head matchup tonight. It's Greg Sawyer on the right. First ball is a whiff. Doesn't hit anything. Paul Metivier misses the head pin, but pin's still falling and might be a backdoor, but not quite. 9 drop for Paul Metivier, all but the head pin. Greg Sawyer will bean out the 7 pin and nothing else. Metivier will grab his spare for the road. Greg Sawyer, remedial ball with a pretty 10 box. Excellent pinning by Greg Sawyer. Greg Sawyer is at 59 after 6. Metivier at 60 and a ball. That is confirmed on the automatic score system. Anyway, so now that I think we're mostly settled in here, it's good as always to have you along with us. Originally live streamed on Monday, September 9th, and available for rewatching anytime upon the conclusion of this match. Greg Sawyer to the left of the head pin, leaves the right side cleary. Metivier, more than 5 on his fill. Excuse me, 4 on his fill. 5 on his fill. They're going to have to fix that on the automatic scoreboard. Metivier will miss. Both bowlers will miss on their spare attempts. Greg Sawyer for his 10 box. He will take 8. Metivier for a 10 box. He'll take 8 as well. I'm going to notify them of the fill. There we go. Just yelled over to them just to make sure that it was correct up there, just so we might as well stay in sync everywhere and not get sidetracked. Thank you, Todd Holbrook, for kindly correcting that. Greg Sawyer will lead off on lane 18. Ball curves to the right at the last minute. He'll take the 4-horseman left side on the first ball. Paul Metivier, lane 17, punches right out, head pin, and a split 4-pin spread eagle. And Greg Sawyer will take a nice, pretty spare. That puts him at 77 and a ball after 8. Paul Metivier trying to convert the spread eagle for a spare. He'll take the left side of the roadkill, leaving the right side. Paul Metivier for a 7, 8, 9, or 10 box on lane 17. He fires, and he'll take a 7. Should be 80 for Paul Metivier, and 77 in a ball for Greg Sawyer. Greg Sawyer wasting no time. Fires immediately, gets a 5 fill. 2, 4, 7, 8. Paul Metivier, same thing, another spread eagle, another split. Can't get much more unlucky than that, except it's a 3-pin spread eagle this time for Paul Metivier. Greg Sawyer gets another pretty spare. Look at that. That was a difficult shot to convert, but he did it anyway. Greg Sawyer, 92 and a ball and 9. Paul Metivier with a frustrating punch out on the 7-pin on the second ball. Paul Metivier's got some work to do here. For a 10 box, Paul Metivier fires. And he's going to get a few pins for the road. He'll pin it out for 8, put him at 88 and 9. Now we can show the detailed scores while we have a moment. Greg Sawyer is ahead of Todd Holbrook in the 9th, and we'll take the first game. Paul Metivier is tied with Justin Ruggiero in the 1st, so Paul Metivier is largely safe. He can tie or win. Greg Sawyer is guaranteed the first game. Greg Sawyer on the fill. For the spare, he'll drop 5. Paul Metivier misses the headpin to the right. 1, 2, 4, 8, and 9 for Paul Metivier. Greg Sawyer will miss that final attempt for a spare in the first game. Paul Metivier on lane 17 for the spare. He misses well, leaving the 1, the 8, and the 9. Greg Sawyer will take a 6 box to finish up. Greg Sawyer will finish with a 103. Paul Metivier, 7, 8, 9, or 10 box. He'll take an 8 box, putting him at 96. And like that, we are already completed at the first game of 5 here in this 5-game series of Candlepin Bowling on this double-header match at Leda Lanes tonight. So we'll take a look and size up the situation. Paul Metivier wins the first game by 8, 96 to Ruggiero's 88. And Greg Sawyer will take the first game 103, up by 13 over Todd Holbrook's 90. And we're going to just quickly move to the next game here. Again, bear with me. Appreciate your patience while we size up this doubleheader action here tonight at Leda Lanes. It's about to get very busy with all the leagues that come up. Haven't missed too much so far. Both of our green bowlers, Todd Holbrook and Justin Ruggiero, have missed their spares. But Ruggiero will touch all pins but leave the 5 for a 9 box. And Todd Holbrook will finish with an 8 box in the first box of the second game here at Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. All right, I meant to say this back at the beginning, just didn't have time. For those interested, I'd like to highlight a few things. First, in most cases, this broadcast should have subtitles and live captioning enabled. Enable that feature if you are interested. Justin Ruggiero off to the left of the headpin. No split, though. Holbrook to the right of the headpin. No split, though. And Ruggiero will clean up for a spare. Holbrook on lane 17 trying to do the same, but he's off to the right of the headpin. No spare for Holbrook, but he can get a 10 box, or at least attempt to get one. Holbrook for a 5 box or greater. It's got to be something good. And it looks like it's going to be an 8 box. Double 8s for 16 after 2 for Todd Holbrook, and 19 in a ball for Justin Ruggiero at this time. That's where we stand. Folks, if you're watching this on YouTube later on, there may be times where I may include some notes in the description if I catch scoring errors in the post-production, so please be sure to check that out. That is a 7 fill for Ruggiero and a split on the headpin. Todd Holbrook on the headpin, no split, 7 drop. Ruggiero will take a second spare as the last pin wiggles and falls. Holbrook versus the 2, 4, 7. He'll fire on it, and he'll take a spare as well. Excellent marks by our bowlers, meeting each other in the moment. Ruggiero is at 36 in a ball after 3, and Holbrook is at 26 in a ball after 3. So, folks, also, if you're watching this on YouTube, the transcript feature will also be available if you're interested in cutting to certain points in the match where you want to, I said something based on keywords, or you're just looking for something and you just want to find it. Feel free to use that feature later on when this match is on YouTube. That's a 5 fill for Justin Ruggiero. And it should be a 6 fill for Todd Holbrook, but the automatic score system didn't appear to count it correctly. No spare for Justin Ruggiero. We pause for a score correction down there. For the spare shot for Todd Holbrook, he's off target. It's the 4-pin only. Justin Ruggiero for his 10 box, he'll take a 9 box. Todd Holbrook for the cleanup. Take one more out for the road and take an 8 box. 50 and 40 we are at, Ruggiero and Holbrook respectively. Ruggiero at 50 after 4, Holbrook at 40 after 4. That is confirmed. We are synced up with the automatic scoreboard. Justin Ruggiero will lead off on lane 18. He'll fire. Backdoor action going on, and everything but the 2-pin is left. Holbrook visibly frustrated by that one, leaving a 7-8 split. Ruggiero will clean up his single for a spare. Holbrook, difficult shot on the 7 and the 8 with some wood. Holbrook fires upon the 7 and the 8, tries to play the wood. The wood doesn't play back. Still left with the 7 and the 8. Holbrook will fire. He'll take an 8 box. 48 after 5 for Holbrook. 60 in the ball after 5 for Ruggiero. And we are now going to sit and reconfigure our scoreboards once again as the opposite bowlers from the opposite matchups now take the approaches. Again, it's not a head-to-head matchup tonight, so bear with me if I'm a little bit slower on the draw here, just making sure everything displays correctly. We have Paul Metivier, first ball of the second game on the head pin. No split. Greg Sawyer off to the right of the head pin. No split. Metivier looking at the 3-6-10 on lane 18. Metivier will go for it, and he'll take it. Sawyer almost takes everything out. That was almost a pretty shot, but he leaves the 2-pin on the deck for a 10-box opportunity. Mr. Greg Sawyer, newcomer to the ACST in Class E, will take a 9-box. Metivier sits at 10 in the ball after 1. Sawyer at 9 after 1. That's where we stand. Looks like we're going to pause real quick for the pin setters to catch up here, but this is where we are matchup-wise right now. We'll size up who's ahead of who once we get to more even ground in terms of the boxes. Metivier on lane 18, off to the left of the head pin. And Sawyer will take a strike. Very pretty shot for a strike. Metivier, who filled his spare with 3, chops out some more. He's looking at a 7, 8, 9, or 10 box, 1, 3, 6 on the deck. Metivier fires. He'll take a few more out. He'll clean up for a 9 box. 22 after 2 from Metivier. Compare that to Ruggiero's 26 after 2. Greg Sawyer at 19 and a fill after 2. Compare that to Holbrook's 16 after 2. We have Paul Metivier leading off. Greg Sawyer is on a strike. Metivier to the right of the head pin. Sawyer, first ball is a 5. Metivier drops 6. Neither bowler is hitting the head pin. But Todd Holbrook wants to do a score correction, but we're reminding him that the fill doesn't count until the second ball. Metivier misses his spare. Sawyer will take a 7 fill, and we'll make sure that is correct on the automatic score system up there. And now it's got to be fixed. Todd Holbrook is going to take a moment to fix that. Metivier for his 10 box on the head pin. He'll take a 9. Sawyer 7, 8, 9, or 10 box on the 1, 4, 7. He'll take a 7 box. 33 after 3 for Sawyer. 31 after 3 for Paul Metivier. And folks, also, if you're watching this on YouTube later on, I'll also do my best to add chapters to the video so you can choose to jump to certain points in the games if that is your preference. Metivier on the head pin, 4, 6, 10. Greg Sawyer also on the head pin, drops all but 5. Sean Howard on the mic announcing to the leagues tonight, discussing the automatic score system. Metivier misses his spare, and Greg Sawyer will get his spare, though. Mr. Greg Sawyer, sorry, that's a spare, not a strike. Metivier for a 10 box, 4, 6, 10. 9 box for Metivier. Metivier at 40 after 4 versus Ruggiero's 50 after 4. Greg Sawyer at 43 and a fill after 4. Compare that to Holbrook's 40 after 4. Greg Sawyer particularly. Spotlight on Greg Sawyer getting a lot of marks tonight. Metivier, lane 18, off to the left of the headpin. And Greg Sawyer will take a heartbreaking 2 fill with a half Worcester. Metivier trying to convert for a spare. Wood doesn't play well. Sawyer, pins are falling, still falling, leaves the 6 pin. No spare for either bowler. Metivier versus the 2 and the 6. He'll take a 10. And Sawyer will take a 10 as well. That puts us at 50 for Metivier after 5, and Ruggiero's at 60 plus a ball. And then Sawyer's at 55, and Holbrook at 48. Appreciate you watching this action on this Monday night bowling here at Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. That is Todd Holbrook. I almost said Craig Holbrook with a 9 drop on the 10. And Justin Ruggiero will take a 5 fill. No headpin shot, but no split technically because the headpin is still there. And Todd.
What's up? What do you think? I did not see it. I'm sorry.
Say bowler's call on that because I missed it visually. Ruggiero will take a 9 box. They will kindly discuss that. We'll call it good. No bowlers objecting, and we'll say bowler's call. My apologies, I failed as an announcer to watch that just because I was keying in Justin Ruggiero's first ball. But we'll call that a spare. If it's wrong, then hey, scream at the screen. 58. No, he's going to mark it as a foul. Just kidding. He's going to call it a 9 box. Always appreciate when the bowlers are very studious about the sportsmanship on that, as always. Ruggiero with a split on the first ball. 8 drop for Holbrook. First spare, so you can get a real one this time. He misses off to the left. Calls an audible. And Ruggiero will take a spare of his own, though. Ruggiero is at 84 and a ball after 7. Holbrook with that 10 should put him right at 67 and 7. I believe it should be a 10. If it's reading as a spare, I'll ask them. We seem to be having some automatic score issues outside of the stream. Holbrook, another 9 drop. Second one in recent memory. Ruggiero will key out only the 2 pin. Gnarly 1 fill. Todd Holbrook firing on the 10 pin. That will be a fouled 9. That one I did see. Sorry, Todd.
I did see that one. You did see that? Yeah.
Ruggiero punches out the 6 pin and the 6 pin only. He's just trying to get something here, and he'll punch out for a 6 box, a hard bought 6 box. He went to war for. That should put him at 91 and 8. And that should put Holbrook at 80. Something is off with Holbrook's. He should be at 76, but something is wrong on their board down there. Holbrook, anyway, misses the head pin there. Ruggiero will get a split. Holbrook on the 7 pin. No spare for either bowler. It looks like it's going to be a 3 box for Holbrook. Frustrating 3 and a 10 box for Ruggiero. 101 and 9 for Ruggiero. 79 and 9 for Holbrook. Might need to pause to fix something with Todd's score system. For reference, I believe Todd Holbrook should be at 79 after 9. I'm going to see if I can help him real quick. Sorry about the brief pause. We're just things got hopelessly confounded down there on the tablets and the touchscreens down there, and just making sure because Holbrook got a box ahead when he shouldn't have. When they were doing a score correct, they incorrectly.
Yeah.
All right, one moment. I'm gonna jump in. Okay. Score operator on multiple levels tonight. Just making sure everything is synced up with me, so we should be good.
Oh, sorry, I forgot that.
Hello, my name is Steve Kelly, and I do bowling IT support on the weekends. Todd Holbrook to the right of the headpin. Get the split. And Justin Ruggiero off to the left of the headpin with a cleary. Todd Holbrook still chopping some stuff out for 79 or 10 box possibility. Justin Ruggiero 5 or higher. Takes a few more out, no spare. 8, 9, or 10 for Justin Ruggiero. 7, 8, 9, or 10 for Holbrook. Holbrook will take a 7 box to finish with 86. Ruggiero versus the 3 and the 8. And he'll take an 8 box. 109 for Ruggiero. Let's check where we are at on the scores. 109 confirmed for Justin Ruggiero and 86 for Todd Holbrook. And we will talk about the matchups after the 2 remaining bowlers have finished. That's where we stand. All technical quirks aside tonight. And just pausing to reconfigure once again. The bowlers are not bowling head-to-head, so it's not a problem. It's just makes me stand a little on edge just a little bit more. Paul Metivier, no head pin, no split. Sawyer with a 9 drop on the 4 pin. Metivier will take one more pin out, the head pin. Sawyer for a spare shot. He'll take it. Sawyer accurate tonight. Excuse me, a 10 box, not a spare. Excuse me. Still the statement stands. Sawyer's been quite accurate tonight. 3, 7, 10 for Metivier for a 7 box. 57 and 6 for Metivier. And 65 after 6 for Sawyer. Scores confirmed. Sawyer on the left of the head pin. Pin still falling. 1, 3, 6, 4, 7 for Sawyer. Metivier on the head pin with a split 6, 7, 10. Sawyer takes one more out for the road. Sawyer is 6 for 17 on headpin shots tonight with 2 splits. Metivier 3 for 17 on headpin shots with 2 splits. 6, 7, 10 once again for Paul Metivier. No marks. Sawyer will take an 8 box. Metivier 7, 8, 9, or 10. He fires. Kisses the wood. No luck for him. 7 box. 64 after 7 for Metivier. Let's get you some detailed scores in your score update. 85 to 64, Ruggiero up against Paul Metivier in the 7th, and 73 to 67 for Holbrook and, excuse me, no. We'll assess that in just a moment. So Sawyer will drop 9, leaving the 4. Metivier with a left side lemon drop on the 4 and the 4 only. Sawyer will take a spare. And Metivier take a few more out. Bouquet of pins in the center and the 7 pin for a 10 box. Metivier having some trouble getting things started tonight. Metivier will go for the 10 box. It looks like he's going to get it, and he will. Excellent pinning by Metivier. That puts him at 74 after 8. A lot of folks piling in here tonight. People literally coming in to watch this match. A lot more people than I expected. Greg Sawyer will fill that spare with 4. No head pin, no split for Sawyer, though. Metivier with a head pin shot, 9 drop. Leaving only the 7 pin. Sawyer on the head pin, and he'll take another spare. Another spare for Sawyer. 4 marks in this game. And Metivier didn't do so bad himself with a spare of his own. Metivier, 4 head pin shots, 2 splits for the night. Sawyer, 7 head pin shots, 2 splits for the night. Sawyer, not on the head pin, but no split at least. 7 box, 1, 3, 7. Metivier will fill with 8. We'll hit the head pin, but we'll get a split of his own. Sawyer will get another spare. Sawyer is like the unspoken MVP tonight with tons of marks so far. Sawyer has 1 strike and 7 spares for the evening. He's at 114 plus a ball. Metivier versus the 2 and the 6 pin. He needs this, and he misses it off to the left. Oh, and excuse me, I didn't actually... Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I didn't switch it back to the main camera. Too much stuff going on. Metivier will go for a 10 box. Well, enjoy the scoreboard. But Sawyer, final ball of the second game. 1, 3, 5, 6, 9, 10. That's a 4 fill. Excellent game by Sawyer. Putting up B-class, borderline A-class numbers. That concludes the second game. Ruggiero over Metivier, 109 to 102, and Sawyer over Holbrook, 118 to 86. Justin Ruggiero up in the game by 7, and Paul Metivier up in the match by 1. Sawyer up in both the game and the match, up in the total by 45. We will... Moving right along to the next game, we have Justin Ruggiero on that, missing the head pin, but dropping 8. We have Todd Holbrook to the left of the head pin, no split. Holbrook for a spare shot, doesn't get it. Ruggiero for a 10 box. We'll get a 10 box. Holbrook will take a 10 box as well, 10 and 10 so far. Appreciate you folks watching. And my apologies, I would normally interject more facts, figures, and stats, but just a lot to maintain on the score system tonight, so we're just going to focus on the action tonight more than anything else. Justin Ruggiero dropping 9 and leaving all but the 10 pin. Excellent head pin shot. Holbrook, meanwhile, dropping 6 on the head pin with a split. Ruggiero misses the single pin spare on the 10. Holbrook with a rather more difficult shot. And he'll miss to the left of the object pin, leaving the 2 and the 6. Ruggiero for a remedial ball, and he'll foul it for a 9. Calls foul. And Holbrook will take an 8. 18 after 2 for Holbrook, and 19 after 2 for Ruggiero. Again, my apologies for hanging on the scoreboard earlier, and I didn't realize that until afterwards. Hard to click around and make sure that's all kept up, so here we go. Check it out. Let's switch back. You saw it here. Justin Ruggiero down there on lane 18 to the right of the head pin. Leaves the 4 horsemen left side on the 10. Holbrook on the head pin drops 9. Ruggiero will take a spare. Lane 18 has a tendency at Leda Lanes to really provide some awesome action. Todd Holbrook misses his single pin spare. 9 or 10 box for Todd Holbrook. And he will take a 9 box. 27 after 3 for Holbrook, 29 and a ball for Ruggiero. And as folks start to come into Leda Lanes for leagues, I am a little bit worried that our Wi-Fi may cut out. So if in the event that happens, I will be recording this match regardless, and we'll upload it later on. So do not worry, and my apologies if the network connection cuts out a little bit. Ruggiero with an 8 fill. Excellent 8 fill. Todd Holbrook, no headpin shot, no split, 1-9-10. Ruggiero for the follow-up split spare conversion. Piece of wood defeats that attempt. Holbrook attempts to convert, but he also has similar trouble with some wood deflecting the ball. Ruggiero will take a 10 box. Holbrook for an 8, 9, or 10. He'll take an 8. 35 after 4 for Holbrook, 47 after 4 for Ruggiero. Holbrook with a 90 and 86 so far. Ruggiero with an 88 and 109. Not counting this game, of course, which is in progress. That's a headpin shot for Ruggiero with a split 4-7-10. Holbrook misses the headpin, and a smattering of pins is down there. Ruggiero, 4-7-10. Misses the object. Holbrook for the 1-3-6-7-9 and leaves the 7. It's going to be a 9 box for Ruggiero. And a 9 box for Holbrook. 44 after 5 for Holbrook and 56 after 5 for Ruggiero. I'm Steve Kelly on the call. This is the doubleheader ACST B&E match tonight. Class B and Class C North. Greg Sawyer versus Todd Holbrook and Paul Metivier versus Justin Ruggiero. Our home bowlers are Todd Holbrook and Paul Metivier. Our away bowlers, Greg Sawyer and Justin Ruggiero. Paul Metivier on the headpin, dropping 8. And Sawyer does the same. Sawyer with 8 headpin shots and 2 splits for the night. Metivier. Excuse me, no. I'll assess that a little bit. Metivier on the object wood, and he's frustrated by that one. The 5 and the 8 remain on the deck. Sawyer for his spare, and same idea. Oh my goodness, both bowlers robbed of spares. Metivier will clean up for a 10 box, miss the second, get the third. Sawyer versus the 6 pin, and he'll foul out for a 9. See as he will reassess the counts here. We have Greg Sawyer at 8 headpin shots and 2 splits for the night. Paul Metivier, 8 headpin shots and 6 splits. More accurate. I was looking at the wrong numbers. Sawyer on the headpin with a split. Metivier, no split. Metivier, no headpin either. Firing on the headpin this time. Metivier takes a few more out, leaving the 3, 5, 6. Sawyer 3, 7, 9, 10. Both bowlers for 10 boxes now. Metivier on the triangle leaves the 5 for a 9, and Sawyer will take a 7. Metivier 19 after 2, tied with Ruggiero. Sawyer 16 after 2, 2 under Holbrook for the game. Metivier on lane 18, on the headpin, 9 drop, and a late strike for Metivier. Sawyer on the headpin, 4-6, 4-6-3. 4-6-2, excuse me. Key in his strike. Sawyer, no spare. 4-6-2 for a 10 box. He will get it. That was a pretty 10 box for Mr. Greg Sawyer. Metivier on the headpin for the double. He'll get 70% of the way there on the headpin. Nice. Looks like he's slowly settling into the lane 18 now. The curvature of lane 18 at Leda Lanes. Sawyer off to the right of the headpin, off target. Metivier, can he clean up and get a spare on strike? He will. Sawyer almost converting for a spare, leaves 1 pin on the deck. And he's going to clean up for a 10 box here, potentially. We'll see what Sawyer does. Thinking long and hard about that wood. Waiting for the wood to clear specifically. Actually, that's great pause and waiting for Sawyer. And it worked in his favor anyway. He'll take a 10 box, 36 after 4. Metivier now on a hot streak, spare on strike. Lane 18, he fires, and that was a misfire. Looks like it's going to be a 3 fill for Metivier. And Sawyer off target as well, but not too bad. Drops 6, left side for Horseman. Metivier trying to clean up for a spare. Takes a few more out for the road. 6 down, 4 up. Sawyer will take another one out. 3 up, 7 down. Metivier for the 10 box. He'll clean up for the 10. Metivier 62 after 5. Sawyer will take a 9 box, 45 after 5. That's where we're at. 62 to 56. Metivier is over Ruggiero in this third game here. Sawyer is at 45 after 5, up by 1 over Holbrook in the 5th box. Now for the second half. Adjusting my scoreboards here. Here we are. And it looks like I got them backwards. Apologies on that. I'm just figuring out what the heck I just did. You know what? For the moment, we're just going to turn these off. So Holbrook dropping 6. And Ruggiero with a split 7-10. Holbrook will run him down for a spare. And Ruggiero will take a 9. $10 box, excuse me. Sorry, we have a couple things going on outside of the camera view. Holbrook will miss the head pin and take a smattering of pins. Ruggiero, same story. Holbrook for a spare shot. Drop all but the 3 and the 6. Ruggiero 1, 2, 7, 10. He'll take the 2, leaving the high-low jack 1, 7, 10. Holbrook for the 9 box. Ruggiero will complete the high-low jack for the 10. 75 after 7 for Ruggiero. 63 after 7 for Holbrook. I'm going to see if I can just get the right folks up on the screen here. Here we are. We're slowly getting there. All right. Holbrook misses the head pin to the left. Drops 3. Ruggiero drops 6. Holbrook for the spare, and he'll take all but the 5. Good attempt. Ruggiero, similar idea. Leaves the 6. No spare for either bowler. Holbrook will take a 9 box. Ruggiero will take a 10 box. 85 after 8 for Ruggiero. 72 after 8 for Holbrook. There we go. We are caught up now. Folks, if you're new to the ACST or Candlepin bowling in general, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to you and hope you enjoyed this match and the unique sport of Candlepin bowling. And of course, if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Your continued viewership is greatly appreciated. That's Todd Holbrook with off to the right of the head pin. Drops 7. Ruggiero with a banana split on the head pin. 4, 6, 7, 10. 1, 4, 7 for Todd Holbrook. And Todd Holbrook with a pretty spare. Nice little pin dance going on down there in the 9th. That puts him at 82 in the ball after 9. Ruggiero 4, 6, 7, 10. It's a banana split shot. It's rather difficult to go for. There's a piece of wood in front of the 6, but it might be too far out to be of use, but we'll see how Justin Ruggiero plays it. He's got to play the wood in some way, but he misses it. Justin Ruggiero with no strikes and 7 spares for the night. Ruggiero with 14 head pin shots and 10 splits. That will be an 8 for Justin Ruggiero. Comes up from Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts. Todd Holbrook on the head pin. There's the hammer ball. Strike on spare for Holbrook. And Ruggiero trying to match box for box on the energy for Holbrook. He'll drop 9, leaving the 10 on the deck. And we are going to probably need to pause to clear a pin that is a little bit too excited about the action tonight. So we're going to just wait on that real quick. It might roll out of play, actually. It will roll out of play. So Justin Ruggiero versus the 10 pin for a single pin spare in the 10th. Ruggiero sits at 95. Still waiting, and Paul Metivier was just checking on the piece of wood in the middle on lane 17 just to make sure it wasn't out of play. Again, always great to verify everything on that. Justin Ruggiero, after the long wait, unfortunately whiffs the spare on the 10 pin. Holbrook is going to fill a strike meanwhile, going ahead starting out with 7. Ruggiero will take a 10 to finish up. Holbrook, final ball of this third game here. Holbrook at 102 and a ball. Take a 9 fill to finish up. 111 is where he'll finish. 111 for Todd Holbrook and 105 for Justin Ruggiero, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just waiting for the automatic score system to finish up. It always flashes a please wait at the end of a game, but it kind of covers up everything else. It is a 103 for Ruggiero. May need to verify that. I think he had a 10 box in the 9th, and I think they are currently fixing that, but we'll double check. So we did have a 10 box in the 9th, so they're just going to be correcting that. Meanwhile, not to delay anything though, Sawyer on a spare attempt. Doesn't complete it. Paul Metivier, spare attempt on a split. 4-7-10. Paul Metivier trying to get it. The piece of wood stops short of taking the 10 pin. 6-10 for Sawyer for a 10 box. He'll take 8. Metivier versus the 10 pin for a 10 box. I believe that will be a 10. Yes, he will. It will be a 10. 54 for Sawyer. Sawyer off target. Metivier dropping 7. 2-8-10. Sawyer will go for the spare and doesn't quite get it. 5-6-10. Metivier on the 2-8-10. This is Paul Metivier's spare shot. And something happened there just now. Not sure what's going on. But he'll just pause real quick. Might have been a sticky spot or an issue with the approach. He's just double checking his slide real quick. Stopped short before the foul line, so no issue there. On the automatic scoreboard, it shows Greg Sawyer at 54 after 6, but I'm not sure that is correct. I'm going to go ahead and say that I think my score might be more accurate than that one. So Metivier will take a spare. Not a strike, a spare. Sawyer will take a 7 for 60-7. Metivier will take a spare for 82 and a ball. Folks, if you like this content, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel for more exciting matches. And if you have any questions or suggestions, please let me know in the comments. Candlepin bowling is always a fun sport where a lot of unpredictable things can happen, and generally a great spectator sport. A lot of people here tonight watching this match. Paul Metivier with a 9 fill and a spare against the 7 pin. Will he get the double spare? He will. Sawyer misfire on the first ball, and then 1 pin down for the remedial finisher. He will take a 10. Everything goes down for Sawyer at the end. Sawyer stands at 70 after 8. Metivier, meanwhile, will drop 7 on his the headpin. Sawyer not in the headpin, having some trouble now. Metivier, no spare, no three-peat. Sawyer versus the 1-5-3, 7-9-10. He takes out all but the single pin in the center. No spare, but a 10 box is still possible. Metivier for his 10 box shot. Well, Metivier will take his 10 box. And Sawyer will take a 10 box as well. Sawyer should be at 80 after 9, and Metivier should be at 118 after 9. The automatic score system has desynced from me, but to be honest, I am a little more confident in mine right now, so I'm going to go with mine. Sawyer is to the right of the headpin. He drops 8. And Metivier on the headpin doesn't get a whole lot to show for it. 7-9-10-4-6. Sawyer doesn't get a spare. Sawyer will go markless this game. Metivier, he has 4 marks. Will he get a 5th? Let's find out. He'll try, but he's a little bit to the right of the object pin, leaving the 5 and the 7. Sawyer is going against the 3 for a 10 box, and he'll take a 9 box. Said he'll take a 9 box. Metivier, 8, 9, or 10. He'll take a 10 box. Great pinning by Paul Metivier. Paul Metivier will finish 128 to Ruggiero's 105. Sawyer will finish 89 to Holbrook's 111. And again, I think the score system is out of sync, and I am not going to dwell on it. So we're going to move on to the next game. And it looks like they're going to check with me, actually. Yeah, a couple things were wrong up there. I've got these.
Oh, we need to fix that.
Sorry about that. We're just checking a couple of things, and fortunately, I think I missed the headpin shot statistics for that first one, so bear with me real quick. I'm just playing catch-up. Swap over the... That was a strike by Justin Ruggiero. Again, sorry, not reacting fast enough to it. Things are happening fast and furious here. Todd Holbrook, no headpin, no split. Takes out a lemon drop 4 pin. That was a 10 fill on the spare for Ruggiero, naturally. No split for Holbrook. Someone just brought in a pizza. It smells really good. 8, 9, or 10 for Holbrook. He'll take an 8. 18 after 2 for Holbrook. 30 and a fill after 2 for Ruggiero. Justin Ruggiero, as you may know, he is the champion of Class C North for the 2023-2024 season. And he's on the headpin. That's a strike fill for Justin Ruggiero. Right as I'm talking up how well he's been bowling. Currently sits at 50 after 3. Holbrook struggling to get something going here. He's got a left side half Worcester, punching a little too hard, and he punches through the same hole once again. Todd Holbrook having a rough game here. But he has done a decent job pinning things out and getting himself out of these situations. So let's see if he'll at least get a few more for the road. He'll take a 4 box. I think there's a sticky spot down in that lane because both Paul Metivier and Todd Holbrook seem to have reacted to the same area. So Justin Ruggiero is on a double strike. Justin Ruggiero, 18 headpin shots and 11 splits for the night out of 33. Justin Ruggiero will miss that triple strike opportunity and get an additional 3. Todd Holbrook will drop 8. And unfortunately, he'll take a 3 fill for both of those previous boxes, so we'll put him at 56 after 3, a disappointing end to the double strike saga. Justin Ruggiero for a 10 box. He'll clean up for what appears to be an 8 box. Holbrook will take a 9 box. 31 after 4 for Holbrook. 64 after 4 for Justin Ruggiero. 366 after 4.5 games. 3.5 games, excuse me, for Justin Ruggiero. 318 after roughly 3.5 games for Holbrook, but we still have 1 box to go. Ruggiero on the head pin. Drops 8. Holbrook to the right of the head pin. We'll take the 4 horseman left side and the 8 pin, a Cleary. And that'll be a spare for Ruggiero, 4 marks in 1/2. And it's amazing. That 3 fill kind of put a damper on it, but he is at 74 in a ball after 5. Holbrook trying to get something going here, the 4 horseman left side and the 8 pin. See what he can do. And he'll miss it. Unfortunately, no mark for Holbrook. He'll go markless this half. And he'll take an 8 box for 39 after 5. 74 for Ruggiero, 39 for Holbrook, 74, and that 74 is open for Ruggiero, I might add. Bear with me while I just switch the vertical score systems here. We have Paul Metivier on the right and Greg Sawyer on the left. Greg Sawyer will drop 8. Paul Metivier not on the head pin. He's got the 4 horsemen and some friends. 4 horsemen, the 5 and the 8 on the left side. For a spare for Paul Metivier, he'll misfire to the left, but the pins are still falling. Sawyer will take a spare. Metivier versus the head pin for a 10 box. Metivier will take a 10. Both bowlers at 10 after 1. Paul Metivier in 2023-2024 was in B North Division 3. He's now in B North Division 4. At the end of that season, he finished with a record of 125 and 127 after 18 matches. At home, he was 58 and 68. When he was away, he was 67 and 59 with a season average of 107.95. At home, he averaged 106. Away, he averaged 109.9. On the head pin this time, Metivier drops 8. It's a split. Sawyer has some cleanup work to do. Sawyer drops 5. No, it's a 4 fill. Gave him a 5, but it's actually a 4 fill. So he takes a few more out for the road. No mark for either bowler. Metivier versus the 3 and the 7. 3s and 7s. Great Queens of the Stone Age song. Metivier will take a 9 box, and Greg Sawyer will take an 8. Sawyer at 22 after 2. The automatic score system says 23, but I counted better than it did. Metivier on lane 18. To the left of the head pin, he drops 5. 4 horse on right side and the 8. Sawyer on the head pin with a gnarly split drops 5. 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 10. Metivier for the spare shot versus the 5 pins, and he'll take it for a spare. Greg Sawyer will take a few more out, leaving 5 on the deck, 5 down, 5 up. 3, 6, 4, 7, 8. Sawyer will foul that off for a 5 box. That will put Sawyer at 27 after 3, and Metivier is at 29 and a fill after 3. Metivier wanting to waste no time. He's firing right now. To the left of the head pin slightly, 5 fill. Similar story, 4 horsemen right side of the 8 pin. Greg Sawyer on the head pin with another split. Greg Sawyer starting to get unlucky with these splits. The 7, 9, 10, 4 for Sawyer. Metivier misses the 1, 3, 6, 8, 10 shot. Sawyer for a spare shot, he had the right idea. I would have played it very similarly. 7, 10, 4 for Sawyer. No marks for either bowler. Metivier take a 9 box. Sawyer will take an 8 box. 35 after 4 for Sawyer. And 43 after 4 for Metivier. Greg Sawyer leads in the game by 19 at this uneven point in the match. Sorry, in the total by 19, excuse me. Metivier off to the left of the head pin with a half Worcester. Sawyer on the head pin with a split. 7 drops, 6, 7, 10 for Sawyer. Left side half Worcester for Metivier. Metivier will connect with the head pin this time, taking all but the 6 and the 10. Sawyer will take all but the 7. No marks for either bowler. Metivier for a 10 box on the 6 and the 10. We'll take an 8 box. Sawyer will take a 9 box, I believe. Paul Metivier at 51 after 5. Greg Sawyer at 44 after 5. In this game, Ruggiero is ahead of Metivier, 74 open against Metivier's 51, and Sawyer is ahead of Holbrook, 44 to 39. And that is Todd Holbrook with pin still falling. Didn't get the head pin, got a high-low jack out of it. Ruggiero, not as much luck this time around. With a 4 fill. Ruggiero will take one more out. Here we are. Holbrook versus the 7. Ruggiero will clean up for a 10 box. Holbrook will take a 9. Ruggiero is at 88 and 6. Holbrook is at 48 and 6. Holbrook will lead off on lane 18 at Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Good to have you along. I'm Steve Kelly on the call. That's Todd Holbrook in the green and Justin Ruggiero on the green. Todd Holbrook will drop 7 on the head pin. Justin Ruggiero, lemon drop left side on the 4 pin. Holbrook misses his spare. And Ruggiero just takes a few more out. No marks for either bowler. Holbrook versus the 3, 6, 10. He'll foul out for a 7 box. And Ruggiero will take a 5 box for 93 and 7. He's pausing for score corrections. And what can I tell you about Justin Ruggiero? Again, he was the champion of C North last season. 171 and 81 in the regular season with a home record of 92 and 34, 2.7 win-loss. And away, he was 79 and 47. Justin Ruggiero wins a lot. Holbrook to the left of the head pin, takes out a few. Ruggiero misses the head pin, but takes out 7. Holbrook trying to clean up for a spare. Will the 10 pin go? The 10 pin doesn't go. Ruggiero versus the 1, 2, and 8. The 8 pin doesn't go. Both bowlers getting ripped off on their shots. They hit their objects. Holbrook, meanwhile, on lane 18 for the 10 box, and he'll go into the gutter, take a 9 box, and Ruggiero will do the same. Well, not go in the gutter, but take a 9 box all the same. Ruggiero at 102 in 8, and Holbrook 64 in 8. And again, I do recognize there appears to be a desync between me and the automatic score system, but at this point, we're just going to do saucer separation because I do know there are some issues with the automatic score system at this point. So Holbrook drops 7, leaving the high-low jack. And Ruggiero will take a spread eagle. And Holbrook will take a spare on the high-low jack. Pretty shot when it goes. Ruggiero sails through the same hole on the eagle. Eagle minus the 7 pin, excuse me. Ruggiero taking a few more out for a 7 box. 109 and 9 for Ruggiero. Holbrook filling a spare. He's at 74 and 9. Getting ready to fire. He drops 8. 4-6 split. Ugly, ugly, ugly shot. Ruggiero off to the left of the head pin. 4 horsemen right side. Todd Holbrook shooting for a spare here. Holbrook on the 4-6. Tries to play the wood. That's about the best he could have done. Ruggiero for the spare shot. He misses his target. So Holbrook is standing at a 9 or a 10 box now. He'll take 9 for a 91. Ruggiero will take 9 for a 118. Ruggiero at 118 after 10 here in the 4th for a 4-game total of 420. Holbrook, 4-game total of 378. Metivier at 51 after 5. Sawyer at 44 after 5. That is Greg Sawyer on the right, Paul Metivier on the left. Greg Sawyer on the head pin drops all but the 7 and the 10. Metivier, similar story, but leaves the 4-6-10. Both bowlers on splits. 7-10 split for Sawyer. See what Sawyer can do. Both bowlers missing their marks. Metivier on the 4-6 and Sawyer on the 7-10. Sawyer will take an 8-box. Metivier versus the 4-6 now for a 10-box. Take one of the goalposts out, almost taking the other one out for a 9-box. 60 after 6 for Metivier, 52 after 6 for Sawyer. Ruggiero is ahead of Metivier by quite a bit in this point in the game. And Holbrook is trailing Sawyer at the 6th frame. Sawyer will miss on the head pin. No split though. Metivier to the right of the head pin. No split either. Sawyer trying to convert for a spare off target. Metivier versus the left side 4 horsemen. And Metivier frustrated with that shot because he hit it right, leaving the 7 pin, no spare. Sawyer will clean up for a 10. 62 and 7. Metivier, 9 or 10 box. I believe it's going to be a 10 box. I will hold for making sure. Keyed in as a 10. Yep, it will be a 10. 70 and 7 for Metivier. 62 and 7 for Sawyer. Sawyer leads off to the left of the head pin on the 7 pin. He's having some trouble. Metivier. Head pin shot and a banana split. 6 drop. 4, 6, 7, 10. Sawyer just trying to get anything more. He'll take a few more out. No mark. Metivier for his mark. Plays the right side. Only gets the right side, though. No marks for either bowler. Sawyer for the 10 box. It's got to be big. He'll take a few more for a 6. Metivier, 4, 7. We'll take a 10 box. 80 and 8 for Metivier. 2 10s in a row. 68 and 8 for Sawyer. Currently where we stand, Sawyer is ahead of Holbrook at this point in the match, and Metivier is still trailing Ruggiero. Sawyer off to the right of the head pin this time, no split. And Paul Metivier to the left of the head pin. Sawyer for a spare. Take another one out for the road. Somebody's phone is ringing. Metivier for his spare shot. On the object pin, but pins in the back row don't go. No marks for either bowler. Sawyer will foul out 1 for a 5 box, I believe. Metivier, 8, 9, or 10. He'll take a 9 box. 89 and 9 for Metivier. 73 and 9 for Sawyer. Appreciate you watching this Class B and E doubleheader match. The Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour at Leda Lanes. I'm Steve Kelly on the call on the scoreboard, on the stream that is. The stream scoreboard's always unofficial. But in this case, with the automatic score system glitching out a little bit, it might be helpful later on for when we verify scores. So Sawyer on the head pin, but with a gnarly split, and same for Metivier. Metivier frustrated by that one. Sawyer, 7, 9, 10, 4. Take all out but the 7 and 4. No mark. Metivier for his mark now. The 5 and the 10. And he'll take it. That was a pretty shot by Paul Metivier. Paul Metivier, an old pro from the old days. Sawyer will take a 10 out for an 83 for a 4-game total of 393. Metivier at 425, 4-game total plus a ball. Metivier for his final ball of the 4th game. And still falling. Looks like it could be 6. It will be 6. 105 for Metivier. Not quite enough against Justin Ruggiero's 118 at this point in the match. 420 to 431 Ruggiero versus Metivier. 393 to 378 Sawyer versus Holbrook. Metivier is up in the total by 11. Sawyer is up against Holbrook in the total by 15. 105 for you, yes. Just double checking the scores for Metivier. Paul Metivier. A class act, I must say. Gonna move on to the 5th game here. Again, take a moment just to swap things out. 10. I have you up 11, actually. I have you up by 11. Okay. We'll check after. Yeah, I'm just telling them we seem to have some score discrepancies, but not going to dwell on it too often just because of the fast and furious nature of the bowling tonight. Neither bowler on splits or head pins. Mark's not a sheaf for Ruggiero. Mark's not a sheaf for Holbrook. Ruggiero will take a 10 box. Holbrook on the 5 pin. We'll take a 10 box as well. 10 after 1 for both of our bowlers. Show you again the scores here. Ooh, looks like I have to fix a visual bug for Metivier. We'll see how that goes. It's always funny when you design a scoreboard and everything is working great, and all of a sudden you just wonder why the heck something suddenly didn't work. So, hey, not the end of the world, but it just bugs me. That's all. Anyways, great to have you along. Hope you guys are enjoying this match out there, despite some of our adversities we're overcoming tonight for technology level. So, Ruggiero will drop 5, leading the 4 horse on right side in the 8 pin. Holbrook on the head pin. Not much to show for it. No split, thankfully, though. Ruggiero trying to get his mark. Can't quite convert. Holbrook versus the 5 and the 3. For a spare shot, he'll miss it. He'll take the 5, leave the 3. No marks for either of our bowlers. Ruggiero will take a 10. Holbrook will take a 9. 19 after 2 for Holbrook. 20 after 2 for Ruggiero. And folks, if you're just tuning in, this is the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour, a season-long series of one-on-one Candlepin bowling matches between challengers organized into classes and divisions competing for playoff contention. Zoom cam got bumped a little bit, it seems. Ruggiero on the head pin. Trying to get a split. Can't quite do it. Holbrook. No split, but not a very favorable shot for a spare. Ruggiero for a 9 or a 10. Ruggiero will take a 9. Holbrook 6 through 10. Looks like it's going to be an 8. Just had to quickly fix the pin cam there, and I'm thankful it actually snapped right back into position. Ruggiero on the head pin, dropping 8. And pausing for yet another score correction. The Cubica system is great until it kind of messes up, so most of the time it's great, but tonight it's having some trouble. Holbrook on the head pin with a split. 7 drop. Ruggiero getting robbed, but the ball might still be on the deck. Might possibly be touching. Oh, it goes out of play. And Todd Holbrook, similar story. He plays the wood, and the wood doesn't play back. So Ruggiero, no marks for either bowlers. Ruggiero's looking at a 9 or 10. Holbrook is looking at a 4, 6, 7. He's going to tell Holbrook to proceed. 8 box for Holbrook. Bowlers are discussing what to do if there's a ball still down there. Technically in the rule book, it's supposed to be removed. Looks like Todd Holbrook is going to take care of that as Paul Metivier disables the ball detection to make sure that that goes off without a hitch. Anyways, we're at Leda Lanes tonight. Established in 1959 with 36 lanes, tons of leagues. Kegler's Den is an awesome bar for food and drink. Brand new automatic scoring system installed this year, Cubica AMF BES. This is where WNDS Stars and Strikes used to be filmed. There's poker, karaoke, billiards, and cornhole. Matt Susi and Alexis Woolley do an awesome job running this place. As with Sean Howard, of course. Sean Howard, Alexis's father. And looks like we're still talking about what to do with that ball. So, hey, B-roll is B-roll. So, again, at Leda Lanes here tonight. And so Making a new slides tonight in terms of the social media situation. Candlepin Bowling is all over whatever platform you can think of. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever your fancy. There's something there for you. Particularly check out Candlepin Bowling on TikTok, Candlepin Bowling Network on YouTube, Candlepin Corner, the ACST, all kinds of stuff. Anyways, that was a 10 box for Ruggiero. We'll talk more about the socials later. 39 for Ruggiero, and I think they have to fix something real quick. Possibly. Nope, sorry, 9 box. Again, sorry. Got caught talking about social media and when I shouldn't be doing that. 38 after 4 for Justin Ruggiero. 35 after 4 for Holbrook. Ruggiero with a lemon drop left side, 4 pin down. 1 drop. Holbrook to the right of the head pin as well. Similar struggles. Ruggiero with 22 head pin shots for the night, 13 spares for the night, and Holbrook 15 head pin shots and 8 splits for the night. Todd is down by 20 right now. Sorry, Paul was just verifying something with me. So anyways, Todd took a spare. Again, so much stuff going on tonight. And Ruggiero finished with a 6 box for 44 after 5. Flash the scores real quick.
Yeah, there's been a couple of things in the last game that this didn't score correctly. Gonna have to go through that with you afterwards. Oh, okay. Yeah, I couldn't really get your attention, but it's been screwing up a few times.
So, yep, so just letting them know that I know the automatic score system has been a bit wrong tonight. So, again, all scores are subject to review, so not going to try to dwell on it too much just because the action is so crazy tonight. Paul Metivier on a head pin and a split. Greg Sawyer, no split and no head pin shot. He's got a bouquet of pins in the center. And pausing for lane maintenance. There's a pin that may be out of play, disabling ball detection and the like. I'll continue my thoughts. So we also had to expand this to multiple pages of various things on the internet. There's a bunch of YouTube channels you can check out, such as the Candlepin Bowling channel, Wolfman12395 for the classic shows, particularly if you remember the Channel 5 show and Stars and Strikes. Those are all there. There's also Alley Chat on YouTube. They also post Alley Chat classics. If you're on Facebook, check out the Candlepin Chat page on Facebook for all kinds of discussion and random stuff about Candlepin Bowling. No marks for either of our bowlers. The 2 and the 8 pin for a 10 box is what Paul Metivier is shooting at. He'll take a 9. Greg Sawyer looking at a few more pins down the center, and he'll take a 9 box all the same. All right, Paul Metivier on lane 18. On the head pin, that's a strike. That's a hammer strike for Paul Metivier. Greg Sawyer, not as much luck. For a spare shot, 1, 2, 7, 8, 9 on the deck for Sawyer. Missed his mark, going for a 10 box. And he'll take a 9 box. Metivier wanting to waste no time here. He's at 19 and a fill. Off to the left of the head pin, but gets a generous drop of 7. Still has 1 to go to complete the fill. 1, 2, 6. Sawyer on the lane 17. He's on the head pin with a split 5-10. Metivier trying to convert for a spare, and he will. Spare on strike. Sawyer versus the 5-10 is a hard shot to make. He misses it to the left. No wood to help him. Sawyer on the 5-10 once again for a 10 box, and he'll miss it again for an 8 box. Metivier just plowing ahead on the head pin once again, and the wood might be favorable. It's going to be a 7 fill. Technically a split. Sawyer to the right of the head pin, no split. 1, 2, 4, 5, 8, 9 for Sawyer. Metivier will take out the 5 and only the 5. So no mark for Metivier. The mark train ends there. No mark for Sawyer either. Metivier will complete for a 10. A nice 10 box. I didn't expect that to go, but the ball bounced off the sidewall and got it. 7, 8, 9, or 10 for Sawyer. He'll take a 9 box. 35 after 4 for Sawyer. 56 after 4 for Metivier. At this point in the match, Metivier is at 56 after 4, ahead of Justin Ruggiero, starting to pull ahead. Sawyer is tied with Holbrook in the 4th. Metivier wasting no time once again on the head pin. He seems to be on a tear here. Drops 7. 7, 10, 4. Sawyer not on the head pin. 1, 3, 7. 7 drop as well. Can Metivier get another spare? Include his half. He will not. Sawyer will go for the 3 and take only the 3. Metivier is looking at an 8, 9, or 10 box. He'll take an 8 box for 64 after 5. Sawyer will take an 8 box for 43 after 5. That's where we sit right now. We're all caught up. Metivier is up in the total by 31 and up in the game by 20. Greg Sawyer is up in the total by 13, but Holbrook retains the game by 2. That's where we sit right now. Holbrook is on a mark, so Holbrook is not only ahead in the game, he continues to be ahead pending this mark. Mark fill, that is. Holbrook will fill with 9. Ruggiero, left side half Worcester, 2 drop. Holbrook will go for the spare and won't get it. A little bit over ambitious on that 6-pin shot. Ruggiero takes out the 6-pin. He's only got 3 down. Holbrook versus the 6. He'll take a 9 box. Another over. Thought about it too much. It looks like Ruggiero will take a 4. Ugly 4. Excuse me. No, not a 4. 5. I can't count. 5 box for Ruggiero. Hope you're enjoying this match. I'm Steve Kelly on the call. It's Todd Holbrook down there on lane 18 and Justin Ruggiero on lane 17 in the green. Head pin shot and an 8 drop for Holbrook. Ruggiero misses the head pin to the left and takes some pins out. I call that a some pins shot. Todd will take one more out, leaving 1 pin left on the deck, and Ruggiero suddenly struggling here. After having a really great 4th game, now he's starting to struggle a bit. Holbrook will take a 9. And still falling, Ruggiero will take a 7 box, and they're probably going to have to score correct that, I think. No, we got it, actually. So Ruggiero sits at 56 after 7. Holbrook's at 72 and 7. Holbrook fires on the head pin again with a split, a banana split. 6 drop, 4, 6, 7, 10, and we need to pause because Justin Ruggiero's lane did not reset correctly. Woohoo! Not sure if Todd Holbrook's going to finish. Yes, he is. Okay, so we won't switch to B-roll. He's just going to keep on rolling along, I think. Pin jam on lane 17, most likely in the tubes. And Todd Holbrook attempts to sweep it, but can't, so no mark for Holbrook. He's looking at an 8, 9, or 10 box. I'm not sure what they just did. They just disabled ball detection on the wrong box, on the wrong lane, but 10 box for Holbrook regardless. 82 is where he should be standing after 8. Gotta love this. Alrighty. So Ruggiero is at 56 and 7. Holbrook went ahead and is at 82 and 8. We're still waiting because we still have an issue with the pin setter. And Holbrook is going to continue, so... All right, we're going to just keep scoring Holbrook for now. Ruggiero is just going to sit and wait on lane 17. Pin jam, most likely. I can almost guarantee that. Holbrook with an enthusiastic first ball on the head pin and a split. The 3, 9, 10 is what he's shooting at. Let's see, Holbrook fire for the spare. Doesn't quite get it. 3, 9, 10. Holbrook versus that 3, 9, and 10 for the 10 box. He'll hit the 3. He'll take the 9. He'll take a 9 box. 91 and 9 for Mr. Todd Holbrook. 91 and 9. And not sure if he's going to wait or if we're going to go. Just holding for that. We can look at the scores while we have a moment to breathe here. So Holbrook, 19 headpin shots out of 49 for the night, with 10 splits out of 49. And we are defining a split as the headpin has to be down plus a vertical channel open. And Holbrook with an enthusiastic first ball, and it looked like it was going to be a strike, but thought it was going to be a 9 drop, but the 9-pin slides but doesn't fall, and the 5-pin stands tall. So it wasn't for a lack of enthusiasm from Todd Holbrook. Todd Holbrook against the 5 and the 9 pins on the deck. And he'll get it for a spare. So yes, Todd Holbrook is going to finish his game while we are still waiting on the pin jam issue on lane 17 for Justin Ruggiero. It's getting iced by lane 17. So Todd Holbrook stands at 101 plus a ball in the 10th. And again, acknowledging the automatic score system has met 100, but I am fairly confident in my assessment of the score right now. So on the head pin, he drops 6. That'll be 107 for Holbrook, according to my count. 107. Ruggiero fell behind because the lane fell behind. So we're just going to hold on that for just a couple of seconds maybe here. Oh yeah, someone's out back there working on it now. I see pins dropping out, so they're working on that. Anyways, so we'll talk about Justin Ruggiero, the bowler who's waiting on the pin setter right now. So again, he won C North. He's at a season record of 171 and 81 at the end of last season. This is his first match, so we don't have any stats for him yet. So these are last year's stats at the end of the regular season. Season average of 105.55 for Mr. Ruggiero. Haven't gotten a chance to cover him all that often last season, but hopefully that will change this season. He's now in B North as opposed to C North. He bowls out of Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts. Still waiting on the lane maintenance. And if you're new to my streams and you want to figure out how to read the scoreboard, I can explain that to you. So you may have seen a small graphic in the bottom and the center, and the way that is read is in the gray area, you'll see the leads. Those will switch as the leads switch around. They'll be underneath the bowler who has the lead. The first row is for the match total. The second row is for the game total. For example, if someone is ahead 403 in the match and up 42 against someone who has 361, that 42 will show there. And similar story for the game. The points are at the top. The bowler initials are at the top. Finally, we're ready to roll here. Justin Ruggiero not on the head pin, no split. 153.89 for a spare shot. He'll almost get it, leaving the 5 and the 8. No mark, but he's shooting for 10 box. He'll take a 10. Ruggiero still markless, but with 3 10s. He's at 66 and 8. 2 to go. Ruggiero having a rough fifth game here. Excuse me, this is a 5th game. Time really flies, doesn't it? So Ruggiero, final 2 boxes. He's at 486 and counting. Ruggiero on the head pin, dropping all but 9. All but the 10 pin is on the deck. And Todd Holbrook remarking that my score apparently might be a little bit better than the automatic one right now. So again, all scores are subject to review by the end of the night, so no worries there. Ruggiero with a spare. There's the mark he was looking for. And he was certainly looking for that one. He wanted that one badly. He's at 76 and a ball and 9. Ironically, his score is actually in sync with mine, so hooray. Ruggiero filling the spare. Oh my goodness, he's getting robbed. That's a 5 fill. Despite being a headpin shot, he gets an awkward split. So he'll finish for the night 24 for 50 on the headpin shots and 14 for 50 for splits. We'll take one more out. No spare. 7, 8, 9, or 10 for Ruggiero. He's at 81 and 9. We'll take a 7 box to conclude for a 5-game total of 508 for Justin Ruggiero. One of those situations where it really felt like it felt a lot higher, but that first and fifth game really was trouble for him. So he's at 508. Paul Metivier will finish at 495. Well, not 495. He just has to reach 508. So Paul Metivier is all but guaranteed the total, at least. Greg Sawyer and Todd Holbrook, it's a little bit more of a toss-up, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We switch to the other pairs now. It's not a head-to-head match. They're bowling opposite of one another tonight. That's what the bowlers elected to do. Talked about it before the match. That's the terms of the ACST rules. Greg Sawyer with a banana split 6 drop on the head pin. Metivier no split as he missed the head pin. 4, 6, 7, 10 for Sawyer. No mark. No mark for Metivier either. Sawyer on the banana split, just trying to get something. He'll take a 6 box. He misses it twice. Metivier will take a 9 box, leaving 1 pin on the deck. 73 and 6 for Metivier. 49 and 6 for Sawyer. Metivier up 73 to 49 at the same point against Ruggiero. Greg Sawyer to the left of the head pin, drops 6, 1, 6, 8, 10 is what we're looking at. Metivier drops a quick 9, leaves the 7 pin. Sawyer for a spare attempt. It was a great attempt. He was on the object pin. 8 pin wiggling doesn't fall, no mark. Metivier misses a single pin spare on the left side, 7 pin back corner. Sawyer, meanwhile, will take a 9 box, and so will Metivier. 58 and 7 for Sawyer, 82 and 7 for Metivier. Uh, 21, I think, if I remember correctly. I can double check that. The thing says 18. I know, yeah, it's just double checking with Todd. Yep, we're talking there's a score discrepancy. Sawyer, no headpin shot, no split. Metivier, headpin shot, no split. Sawyer with the left side half of the deck. He takes out a few more, leaving the 1, the 2, and the 5. Metivier versus the 4 and the 7 for a spare shot now. Metivier for a spare bid. Take a 9 box. No mark for him. 10 for Sawyer, 10 for Metivier. Metivier stands at 92 after 8. Sawyer at 68 after 8. Sawyer on the head pin. That was a great shot. It could have been a strike ball. It's just he drops 8. The pins just didn't fall right. Metivier on the head pin punches a little bit too full. Spread eagle minus the 10. Sawyer will take a spare. Metivier struggling on a broken eagle, and he clips more of the roadkill. 2, 3, 6. Metivier for the 79 or 10 box. He'll take an 8 box, putting Metivier at 109. 531 to 508 currently in another ball. Sawyer at 471 to 485. He might steal this. To the right of the head pin, he fills that spare with 4. Metivier on the head pin, much better ball. 7 drop, maybe 8. Nope, 7. Sawyer needs these extra pins. He'll take a few more out, no mark. 1, 2, 6, 10. Metivier versus the bouquet of pins in the center, the 3. The 5 pin remains. No mark for either bowler. Greg Sawyer will finish with a pretty 10 for 92. And Metivier, 1 ball remaining. 9 or 10. And Metivier takes his final shot for a 10 box. Metivier finishes with 110. Okay, so let's take a look at where we're at. Ruggiero finishes 508 to Metivier's 541. Sawyer finishes with a 485 tie with Todd Holbrook. So yes, we're going to have to most likely look at that with a fine-tooth comb, but tentatively, Sawyer and Holbrook tied. So, okay, that makes things interesting. So then let's take a look at our final stats. And again, all stats are subject to review, especially ones that are this close. So I never exactly want to be the final declaration of stats here, but we'll see what we can do. And, oops. What did I do wrong here? Hold on. Oops. Nope, sorry, I don't have the view correctly. All right, we'll go back up. I can tell you verbally what's going on, though. So, it looks like in the final, Metivier is at 541 to Ruggiero's 548, taking 10 points over Ruggiero's 4. Metivier 96, 102, 128, 105, 110. Ruggiero 88, 109, 105, 118, and 88. And meanwhile, Holbrook versus Sawyer, it appears that Holbrook will take 8 points over Greg Sawyer's 6. Holbrook with 90, 86, 111, 91, and 107, with Sawyer's 103, 118, 89, 83, 92. Again, all scores are going to be definitely subject to review, and we'll double check all that at the end. I know the bowlers are about to definitely ransack me for the details, so we'll talk those over and compare. But anyways, that will just about finish off a very hectic night here at the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. And I appreciate you sticking it out with me through the whole thing. So anyways, I want to thank our ACST committee and our treasurers for Class B, Corey Alisi, our treasurer, and Class E, Maurice Perry. Thanks to everyone around, for Mike Imperato for the stats and everyone. And you for watching. Thanks everyone. That'll be it for us today from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. I appreciate you watching. If you enjoyed this and want to see more, I invite you to strike, comment, and subscribe to the multiverse of Candlepin Bowling, including some of these that you may be seeing on your screen right now. We're all over the place. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, whatever it is, we're probably there. There's YouTube channels for classic and modern Candlepin action, including Candlepin Skins. There's also candlepinsforcancer.com. Candlepins #4cancer.com. It's for a good cause. Check it out. Check out the rollouts, the roll-offs, see if they're in your area. Check out some podcasts, Ripping the Rack and the Approach. And, of course, go to candlepin.org and click Go Bowling if you want to find in your center, including a center all the way out in Albany, New York, even though it's not there on the map. Anyways, I've been Steve Kelly, and for this doubleheader match tonight, I hope you guys have a great one, and we'll see you at the next Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. Have a great one, everybody.